Ah, the United States of chaos, where the political landscape is as stable as a house of cards in a hurricane, courtesy of our Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump. As we navigate the tumultuous seas of governance under his watchful eye, we find ourselves embroiled in yet another delightful episode of As the White House Turns. This time, the plot thickens with the Trump administration's latest escapade involving deportation flights and the fine art of judicial defiance. On the docket today, we have the esteemed Judge Boasberg, a man who likely never imagined his career would involve schooling the federal government on the basics of following court orders. Boasberg was all set to preside over a hearing on a request for a preliminary injunction, a legal Hail Mary from plaintiffs hoping to stop the deportation express. But alas, the Supreme Court swooped in with a ruling that threw a wrench into the works, reminiscent of a plot twist in a particularly poorly scripted drama. The Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom, decided that migrants do indeed deserve a hearing before being shown the exit door of the U.S. But here's the kicker. Those hearings must take place in the Southern District of Texas, because clearly the best place for justice is in a jurisdiction known for its hospitality towards migrant cases. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the voice of reason in this judicial circus, penned a dissent that could only be described as a masterclass in subtle outrage. "We, as a nation and a court of law, should be better than this," she declared. Ah, if only wishes were horses, Miss Sotomayor. Meanwhile, Judge Boasberg finds himself in a precarious position, contemplating civil contempt proceedings against the Trump administration for what can only be described as an enthusiastic show of disregard for his rulings. The administration's deportation flights, you see, were supposed to make a U-turn back to the U.S. after Boasberg's bench ruling. Instead, they gleefully continued on their merry way to El Salvador, as if following a travel itinerary rather than a court order. Boasberg, ever the diligent judge, demanded answers. He wanted to know who was behind the decision to flout his order. But Justice Department Attorney Drew Ensign, tasked with the unenviable job of being the administration's spokesperson, was left floundering like a fish out of water. "I made diligent efforts to obtain that information," he said, which in bureaucratic speak translates to, "I have no idea what's going on." In a scene that could rival any Shakespearean comedy, Boasberg questioned Ensign about the agency affiliation, titles, and even the spelling of officials' names involved in the debacle. One can almost picture the judge, pen poised, jotting down names like a detective in a noir film, piecing together the puzzle of governmental incompetence. And let's not forget the pièce de résistance, the administration's claim of national security to withhold information. A claim, mind you, that Boasberg deftly dismantled by pointing out that they weren't actually withholding classified materials. Who knew national security could be so unclassified? As the saga unfolds, one might wonder if this is all an elaborate performance art piece, a commentary on the absurdity of modern governance. The administration's antics have become so predictably unpredictable that it's almost comforting, like knowing that the sun will rise in the east or that a Trump tweet will be riddled with typos. But let's not get too comfortable, dear viewers. As Boasberg weighs his next move, the administration continues its tango with the judiciary, raising the stakes and tensions alike. Will Boasberg proceed with civil contempt proceedings? Will the executive branch finally learn to color within the lines? Or will this be yet another chapter in the never-ending saga of rules? What rules? Stay tuned. And while you're pondering these questions, why not take a moment to subscribe to our channel? Hit that like button if you're enjoying the satire, and feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think the administration will ever comply with court orders? Or is this just the beginning of a new chapter in the book of political absurdities? We'd love to hear from you. As we wrap up this episode of the Trump Chronicles, let's take a moment to appreciate the irony that is American politics in the 21st century. Where else can you find a government that treats court orders like suggestions and national security like a punchline? Until next time, keep questioning, keep critiquing, and remember, in the land of the free, there's always room for a little satire.